Hello everyone and welcome to ITLS Academy Empower the Youth. So today in this lecture we will going to study about audit process and development of checklist. So in this particular lecture we will going to study about what is an audit process and what is the development of checklist, means what is a checklist. So in every food industry, whether it's a bakery industry, whether it's a carbonated industry, means beverage industry, or any other industry, okay, so all the industries need audit. So audit is simply a process in which you check the quality of the food product, or a quality that is set according to the regulatory aspects, that is under that FSSAI, FDA, ISO certified or not. So audit process is to check whatever is being processed or made in that particular industry is fit for human consumption or not. So this audit is is happened in any industries, or it is conducted through a document that is known as checklist. So according to this checklist, the auditing in any of the industry is performed. Now let's move to further, that is the introduction part. So all the food businesses are committed to maintaining food safety throughout their operation. It is almost goes without saying that any food type of food business must follow food safety law and regulation. So to protect public health, in the pursuit of the highlighting the importance of the food safety and its maintenance, and as a part of the role of a government agencies in protecting public health, food safety audits are conducted. The food safety audits are an essential part of the food industry, but are sometimes considered as a dreaded experience by food businesses owner. So if we talk about this audit, so this audit is also known as food safety audits, because whatever is being processed or made in the food industry, whether it's a beverage industry, whether it's a bakery industry, whether it is a dairy industry, or whether it's a meat industry, all these industry is making a product that will be going to consumed by a human. So it is very important that whatever is being processed should be contaminant free, means whatever it is spread, whatever the food is being processed in the industry, that food should be of contaminant free, means there should be no such microorganisms that are associated with it. So this auditing is also known as food safety audit, and it is a very essential part of the food industry. And it the operation of the food auditing, or the how the food audit should be conducted uh, is always have a certain set of rules and regulation. So according to that rule and regulation, the food audit is being conducted in respective industries. Now moving to the next, that is what is a food safety audit, means now we will going to study about the definition part. So the food safety audit, it is a systematic, independent and documented activity in which objective evidence is so collected and evaluated to determine if a food safety system is suitable and effective or not. So the food safety audit so it is a very systematic, independent and documented activity that I have already told you in the introduction part, that it needs a certain types of checklist, and checklist have all the documentation. So this process of auditing is a very systematic way, it is very independent, and it is a very documented activity. So in which the objective evidence is collected, means in which what are the evidences they are collected, and further they are evaluated to determine if the food safety system is suitable and effective or not. Now comes the food audits are performed across the entire food for entire you can say so or sorry, and on average the process take around 3 hours. However, this can vary depending on the organization size. Means, so what is the organization size? Means, if you have a small setup of industry, then the time may vary. But if you see, if you tell the optimum time, so the average optimum time is 3 hours. Means, to conduct an audit, it requires 3 hours. So this 3 hours is that average time. The time may changes, means it's this sometime it can exceed to 4 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, or at times it can decreased also to 2 hours also, but not less than 2 hours. So the time may vary depending upon the organization size. Means, what is an organization size? So depending upon that, the time it varies. So the food audits are performed across the entire food industry umbrella, from primary production to the retailer. So this food auditing, it happens in the entire you can say entire industry. Means, as soon as you enter the premises of the industry, means the first step you take into any industry, then from that step the auditing start. Means, they check the environment, they check the persons that are there in the industry. Means, they check everything. Okay, so they check whole and everything, and of course according to the checklist that is governed by different regulatory aspect. So a food safety audit, it is described as a very highly structured activity, and their basic aim is to document the evaluation of food safety system. So it helps in determine if all the practices are according to the appropriate food laws or regulation. Means, the basic criteria or the basic aim behind this food safety audit is to check whether the food that is being processed in that particular industry is abiding by the food laws or regulation or not, and whether the food is contaminant free or not, and whether the quality of the food is maintained or not. Means, the quality of the food should be at the prior importance. So it is very important to check the quality of the food, and and also see whether the industry is working in according to the appropriate food laws and regulation or not. In short, you can say according to the FDA, according to the GMP, according to the HACCP, according to the ISO guidelines. So they all check this. Now further moving that the different types of food audit. So what are the different food audit? Let us explain this. So within the food manufacturing process industry, there are three main categories of the food audit. So in the food industry, so basically there are three food audits. So the first is the first party, second is the second party, and the third is the third party. So there is the three types of audit. So let us understand that what is the first party. So sometimes also called as internal audit. The internal auditing resource or employee perform the first party audit within your organization. So this is first party is known as the internal auditing. Means, here the auditing is done and by the employees, and that it is done within the between the peoples that are present in an organization. Now comes the second party. So this type of audit, it is performed by an organization with a pre-existing relationship, usually supplier, customer and contractor. So the second type of the audit is performed of course by the organization, but with the pre-existing relationship that is usually between the supplier, between the customers, and between the contractor. Now comes the third party audit. So the third party audit is carried out by an external organization, means an external organization, let's say by FSSAI, by ISO, by GMP, or there are certain types of external organization whose work is to perform the audit. So the third party audit, it is carried out by the external organization, and of course that has no direct relationship between the auditee. Usually an independent body or a auditing company. The type of food audit performed will depend entirely by the organizational internal process and regulatory requirement they must adhere to. So that already told you that this type of auditing is being performed by an auditing company, and this auditing company, according to the checklist, they check the quality of the food item that is being prepared in that particular industries, as well as this auditing company is independent of upon means they are not connected with any, or they are not having a relationship with any other industry. They are the independent body, and their basic work is to check the quality of the product. So now comes to the thing, that is, what is the purpose of food audit? So the primarily purpose of the food audit, the food audit is food safety audit, is to notify business owner of the action they must take to comply with food safety rules and regulation. So if you talk about the basic purpose, so the basic purpose is to check the quality of the food. Okay, what all food is preparing. Okay, whether the person is wearing the headscarf or not, a person who is involved in this making process, so whether it is he or she is abiding by the rules and regulation or not, whether they have a proper dress or not, whether they are wearing the headscarf or not, because all these things come under the quality check. And of course the main thing is what all set of rules and regulation that is made by the regulatory bodies. So according to that body, whether the company or the industry is making the food or not. So this is the basic purpose of the food safety audit. So all of these things is done for the people, we as a customer. Why? Because the main thing is that the customer that is going to consume that food should have a proper and a high quality of food. Now comes to obtain the specific certification or accreditation. So organization must submit to a frequent auditing to demonstrate that they are consequently working to meet the necessary food safety standard and requirement to receive or retain a certain accreditation. So accreditation is also known as certification. So the organization must have certain type of certification, for example ISO certified, GMP certified, or FSSAI certified, FDA certification. All these certifications should be there in the organization, because this certification shows that yes, this company is making the food or producing the food items according to these set of rules and regulation. So this is very important, and if any company does not have this type of certification, so their organization should should go and apply for this accreditation, and as soon as possible they should submit the copy to the auditing team. Now comes the commercial objectives. Now what is the commercial objective of food safety audit? So let us talk about this. So many food processing and manufacturing organizations list food safety auditing as one of their internal commercial objective. For some, performing regular internal audits allow them to monitor their food safety practices. Now comes customer or supplier feedback complaint. So if an organization has received any negative feedback from a customer or supplier, it must conduct food safety audit to maintain the relationship. So we as a customer, we should, and one thing to add here, that yes, we all are aware, we all are aware that what all we are having as a food. But after covid, after this covid has been passed, now people are become more, curious, and more, they have more knowledge to understand what they are having. Okay, nowadays whenever you go to the market, you see the nutritional value of a particular food item. You check whether this food item is having this or not, what is the sugar content, what is the carb content, what is the total fat. So everyone is becoming so aware, so conscious about what they are having. So it is very important for any company or any organization to maintain that level of quality in that particular food. If the customer find any food item not appropriate, means if they give a negative feedback about that particular food item, so what the company has to do, means the company, of course there is a negative impact of that company over the customer. And so to maintain the relationship between the customer and the company, so it is always recommended to conduct a food safety audit, just to maintain the relationship and just find what is not, means कहाँ पर गलती है. Okay, means they check where is the fault, where is the from where the why the quality is being degraded. So to check the fault, to check where is the problem is, so to resolve that problem, the food auditing is performed in different types of food industry, just to maintain the relationship. Now comes the food auditing process. So what are the food auditing process? So the first food auditing process is, if you see this diagram, so okay, first is the planning, second is execution, third is the corrective and preventive action, fourth is verification, fifth is audit evaluation. So the first one is planning. So in this step, the auditor will outline the clear objective of the food safety audit process, which include what they will be auditing, and that what action they will take and how they will execute them. This is very easy, that whenever you want to do anything, of course in everyday lives also we plan, and according to that plan we execute our work. So in this food auditing system also, the auditor, an auditor is a person who is going to conduct the auditing. So they set a certain outlines and a clear objective, that what all they will include in the auditing, means what all action they will take and how they will execute that actions. Then comes the second step, that is execution. So this is a this is the evaluation process. So it is a evaluation process of the step, and they have a detailed during the planning phase. So this usually consists of a reviewing your operation, sanitization condition, food safety practices, food safety management system, and documentation. Now comes the corrective measures and preventive action, you can say. So the auditor will outline corrective action, that the step to fix the cause of problem highlighted during the audit. Auditors will also outline the preventive action, which are the step businesses must take to fix the cause of the problem before it occurs. So if corrective action and preventive action are certain steps, in this particular step the auditor, they outline that yes, this is the problem, they highlight that problem, and they tell that what are the preventive actions and corrective actions that you should take to avoid such problems to occur in near future. So in this action, the problem is highlighted if there is a problem. Okay, and according to that problem, the corrective and preventive actions are being taken. Now comes the fourth step, that is a verification. So this audit stage assess how well corrective and preventive actions work and whether they achieve their purpose as laid out during the previous step or not. So in this step the verification is being conducted. Now comes the audit evaluation. So this phase looks into the whether the corrective and preventive actions have worked successfully or not. So under verification, they check whether they have achieved the purposes or they have achieved the aim. And in the last step, that is evaluation, this phase looks into whether the corrective and preventive action have worked successfully or not. So these are certain 5 steps according to which the food auditing process take place, that is planning, execution, corrective and preventive actions, fourth is verification, and the last one is your audit evaluation. So again, this is the process. This diagram have a process turtle model, and in which the process means by whom, output and customers, process measures, perform indicators, instruction, procedure, record and action to be taken, support process and linkage to other individual and departments. Then comes the suppliers and input, facilities, equipment, material and other environmental factors. Now what should a food safety audit checklist include? So what are the different means how the checklist look like, and what are the things that is there in the checklist? Okay, so sorry sorry. Yes, so here are certain you can say a food safety audit checklist should include various items that have covered different aspects of food safety practices and compliances. Auditors may customize the checklist to suit the particular needs of audited organization while ensuring the comprehensive coverage of the food safety aspect. So the food safety audit checklist, it should always include various items that is to be covered, and cover different aspect of the food safety practices and compliances. So here are certain key operation that the food safety audit checklist should cover. The first one is the food safety management system. So availability and accuracy of required food safety documentation such as standard operating procedure means SOPs, HACCP plans and training records. So this one is very important, that what they all include. So the first one is they include the availability and accuracy of the required food safety documentation, means what are the food safety documentations they they check that. Means for example the SOPs is the standard operating procedures. Then they check for the HACCP plans, they check for the training records, means what all training that a company have given to the employees that are working in that particular industry. Then they have a educate record keeping for temperature logs, cleaning schedules, work suppliers approvals and product traceability. So they also check about the record keeping of the temperature, means what are the temperature logs. They check the cleaning schedule, means how the cleaning is conducted, who is the supplier of the raw materials in that particular industry, what is that product traceability. Then at last, the documentation of the corrective action take to address the indefined identified not compliance or deviation. Now second is the food storage, means where you store the food, they check that also. Means how means the proper temperature control of the refrigeration unit or not. So they check where your raw material is being placed, what is the refrigeration temperature, how you control that temperature. Then they check the corrective labeling and dating of the food items, means what are the raw materials. They check the expiry date of that particular food items. They ensure the proper rotation and removal of expired or spoiled products, means whether whenever the food product get expired, so they remove that particular expired food items. Then at last they do the prevention of how the industry is preventing the pest, means how the pest control is being conducted, what is the regular inspection to check the presence of pest, how to remove means how to conduct that pest control. And they also check the proper waste management system. Then comes the food preparation. So personal hygiene of employee include and hand washing, wearing appropriate attire, example hair restraint, and maintaining proper grooming. So this is again very important. They check the personal hygiene of an employee, means whether how they wash their hand, how they sanitize their hand, what type of hand washing is there, what whether the industry have a proper sanitization system or not, what all clothes or attire our employee is wearing, means whether he is wearing headscarf, whether he is wearing gloves, whether he is wearing the face mask, shoe cover. So all these things come under the checklist. Then company, of course, at last, whether a person who is there in the production unit or micro lab, they are proper groomed or not. So all these things is being checked. Now comes the sanitization and cleaning. So adequate sanitization practice, it includes the regular cleaning and disinfection of foods, contact surfaces, equipment, utensils, and food preparation area. Verification of cleaning process, such as frequent method and use of appropriate cleaning agent. Adequate provision and maintenance of 3 compartment sink for tool and utensils. So they also check the sanitization and cleaning, means how the utensils are being cleaned, what are the disinfectant they are using, how the equipments, how the utensils are clean in the food preparation area. So there should always a 3 compartment sink for tools and utensils, it is always there. Then comes the facilities and equipment. So adequacy and cleanliness of food safety, including storage area, food preparation area, and washrooms, means they also check the cleanliness of the storage area, food preparation area, and the washrooms. So condition and cleanliness of equipment, utensils, food contact surfaces. They also maintain and calibrate the equipment, such as thermometers of temperature and monitoring devices. So these are certain things that comes in under the checklist, and according to this a person do the auditing. So what are the steps that are involved, that we have already discussed? Let us understand with the help of this diagram. So the pre-proposal questionable filed by the complaint, means a client, they filed a file in which the pre-proposal questionnaire is filed by the client. Then scheduling, means they schedule the planning for the audit. Then the third step is saying opening the meeting with the client team, and after that the site visit for the audit execution. Fifth point says documentation verification is done. Then closing meeting with the client team. So these are certain 6 steps under which the food safety audit process take place. So that brings to the end of the lecture. I hope you have understood this food safety auditing lecture, and if you have any doubt, any queries related to the lecture, you can simply leave your queries in the comment section below. In the next lecture, I'll be answering your queries. If you have any doubt related to any courses, so you can visit our website, that is www.itlsacademy.com. This is our helpline number, that is 7080833450. You can get our app from Google pay play, and you can follow ITLS Academy on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And yes, the student, don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you.